Hasham, Yahawashi, Hasham, and we out here another week to bring out the words of the Lord and to prophesy and to let you know exactly, who you tribes are that you see on this side here. And as we usually do, we give it to you, the scriptures and prophecies and what have you. And double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salute to the Akim out there. It's furthering his ministry as well. So yeah, we're going to get started with Revelations, the 12th chapter. 13.
This is Revelation 13. And I read it again.
Yeah, read it again. Come.
Revelation 13, and I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So it's not literal. This is not literal, where he said he saw an actual beast came out of the sea. This is metaphorical. He's talking about an empire. Go on, brother.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Right.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right, which that's talking about the Greeks, because the Greeks came before the Roman Empire and this empire, which is the second leg of the Roman Empire. Go on.
And his feet as a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right, so the last part of that beast that's the feet of the bear. Why is that? Because the Russian Empire, or the country of Russia, excuse me, that's going to be the country that's going to destroy the powers on the Western Hemisphere, or the societies on the Western Hemisphere. All right, so it's going to be by Russia it's going to be by Russia on how this society is going to be destroyed due to this nuclear war that's coming up. And you can read that in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. If you can, brother, get me that. Read me verse 1 to verse 6.
It's Ezekiel 38 and 1. And the word of the Lord Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses, horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields.
Right.
All of them handling swords.
Right, so again, this is talking about the preparation of the Russian military and its allies thereof. All right, and that's going to be a fulfillment of, Revelation, the 13th chapter, and I believe it's the 7th verse, where it talks about the beast. The last part of the beast was as the bear, because Russia, like I said, is going to end this world. It's going to be, war is going to be waged between the Americans and the people of the, further west. Excuse me, not further west, but when you go a little bit in the east, such as Europe. All right, and also when you read the book of Revelation, 17th chapter, this talks about on how their allies are going to turn against America. That's in Revelation 17, right? Yeah, we can get that, brother. So it's just going to be all-out war, but it's going to be mainly between the Russians and the Americans. All right, and no one's going to win this war. Russia's not going to win. China's not going to win. Britain is not going to win. Everybody's going to take a big L after this war. You see? So let's read that, brother.
Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which I saw is upon the beast.
Come.
These shall hate the whore.
Right. It says these shall hate the whore. So who are these? Meaning the allies of America. Now, when you look up that image that we have, and we normally carry with us, we don't have it with us right now. No, that's all right. That's all right. Things happen, brother. What you see is Shalom, brother. What you see is you see the woman on top of the scarlet-colored beast, which the beast, as I've explained already to the best of my ability, is the European Union. Okay, and the woman that sat upon the beast is America. So at one time they all was working together. They was all incongruent together. But there's going to come a time where there's going to be a split. And it's going to be so much of a split to the point where they're going to be divided. And they're going to wage war against each other. Okay? Because, like it also says in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, it says, the curses that fell upon us shall fall upon your enemies. And one of those curses is, when you read in Deuteronomy 28, that speaks about on how the brethren, or amongst us, the brethren, They're going to be evil towards one another. They're going to have an evil eye towards one another. Okay? So the same thing has happened with these European nations, such as the Edomites. Is their biblical nationality is Edom. They're the Idumeans. You can say that in the Greek form. Go on, brother.
And these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked.
Right, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked. Who are these that are going to make her desolate and naked? The European Union, and right along with Russia. Okay? Because America, now, the term America is not in the Bible. But its code name in the Bible is known as Babylon the Great. That great city, also known as old daughter of Babylon. All right? Because which when you look up the term Babylon, it means to fuse together or confusion. Hence you get the term Babel. So in America, that's all you have in America. All you have is different philosophies, religions, and all kinds of stuff. And then you also have the, you have the sodomization that's being pushed on the people and what have you. So that's why it's known as Babylon, or old daughter of Babylon. Go on, brother.
And they shall make her desolate and naked, shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, so what does it mean by eat her flesh and burn her with fire? Meaning those missiles are going to be shot by her allies. And also the Russians too. All right? That's how America's going to be totally destroyed. And it's all because of what they did unto the people of Israel. God's chosen people. They've touched the apple of the Lord's eye. First, beginning with the North American Indians. Second, we're dealing with the so-called Negro. Talk about what the 15, what is it? Because the first slavery that started with the so-called Negro was around the 1500s. Around 1550 something, right? So we're talking about the 16th century and later into the 17th century. And they were still selling us around the 18th century too. All right, so they have to pay for all of that. Go on, brother.
Verse 17, for the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will.
Yeah, so the Most High put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. What is the will of the Most High on this side of the spectrum? To have Esau raise up himself, as he's already done, and also by his technology, which he's done that as well. And he's going to use all that he's built himself on, he's going to use it against himself, okay, and his people. Like now, what's going on with this society right now as it stands? But they were saying, there's an article that was brought out on how if you can't pay your rent on time, they can evict you from your house. You know, so this society, little and little, is pretty much dwindling. People don't have the vacancy to do what they want to do anymore. People don't have, like, for example, I was going into last week, you know, beginning with the elder Malcolm from the Chicago camp, on how what you have is you have 90% of the world has banned Americans from going there. You see, so the respect and the power that the Americans had is no longer anymore. And you know, also what I found out, there was one of the brothers who brought it out. The brother from Hawaii, GMS Hawaii, he was bringing out on how you have millions of Americans doing away with their passport. So if the American people don't respect their own country, then that says that America's done. It's finished. You understand what I'm saying? And plus you have a lot of homelessness going on. You have all kinds of situations occurring. And it's really dealing with these Edomites. Because Jake has been suffering ever since. Ever since we got to the New World by them slave ships, we've been down and out, you know. But these Edomites, they're starting to know what it is like to live as who they call niggas, spicks and wetbacks and the whole nine. They're starting to experience that, and now that they're experiencing, they're going crazy. You got Karens acting crazy, you got Darrens acting crazy, because they're experiencing the downfall. Okay, they're experiencing the rough edge of the stick as we've experienced. You see, and that just goes to show you the difference between Jacob and Esau's strength. On how Jacob would be stronger than his older brother. And we've showed our strength, even though we've been getting our ass whooped and all of this stuff that's been going on with our people. We're still able to triumph. We're still able to go through all of this hell. But when they go through a little hell, they can't deal with that. You see? But it just spells the end for them. This is the end of this world transition into another word. So let's read what you got, brother.
For the Most High put it in their hearts to fulfill his will,
Yeah.
and to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall
May
be fulfilled.
Exactly. So this is why this world is still here. This is why this world is still here, and people are going as they may and living in lively. Okay, because the prophecies haven't come to pass yet. The microchip has to be initiated, mandated. Once the chip has been mandated, right, and basically you got to get a chip in order for you to go through your everyday living, then that's when the Lord is going to make the move. That's what you're going to have seen. That's what you're going to have with brothers. Excuse me. Let me start all over again. During this time, brothers are going to be tried. You're going to have certain brothers going to have spiritual power. And what you're also going to have is deliverance. Now, some of us are going to die too. So all of this is going to culminate and transition to what? Yahawashi's return. This is where we're going. You understand? So in order for things to get better, as they say, things have to get a lot worse in this stage of the game. Go on, brother.
This is 2 Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
Yeah.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none.
Right, they shall be like madmen, sparing none. In other words, you're going to have martial law on the streets. And this doesn't only apply to the elect. This applies to also the rest of our nation. Because our nation naturally fear the Lord. Even though some of our people may be like, oh, I don't believe or whatever. But deep down in their hearts to hearts, they know that there's a high power. They know that there's something there. Now, these Edomites on the other side, their pineal gland is just the size of a fingernail. So they wouldn't even know if there's a spiritual entity. Okay, it has to be spelled out to them, but our people know that there's a spiritual entity. So the rest of our nation, they're going to experience what this is saying over here too. Go on, brother.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord Yahawashi.
Yeah.
For they shall waste and take away their goods.
Right, they shall waste and take away their goods. There's legislation on that, on how they can take you out of your house, take everything you own, all right, and keep it for themselves. Like what I could do, Lord willing, next week I could go into the Blaze Act that was passed in 2004. All right? And in the hour of emergency, they can confiscate all your goods. Yeah, so all of the legislations that they've been writing is simply so that they can fulfill what's written therein. Go on, brother.
And cast them out of their houses.
And cast them out of their houses to take them where? To concentration camps. That's going to be the next online. All right? People are going to be tried. Everybody's going to be tried to see whether they believe. Because you got people out there that don't necessarily know the truth, but they claim to believe in something. So their belief is going to be put to the test. Whether they believe in their power or whatever power they have in their mind, which was taught to them. Okay? But this is mainly for the elect, those that are in the the prophethood, and those that believe, that support the prophets. This test is really for us to see whether we're going to overcome this. But it was already written that we're going to overcome anyway. Go on, brother.
For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall be known, who are my chosen?
Right, then it's going to be known who are my chosen. Because the chosen are going to rely on what? The scriptures. They're not going to rely on anything else, because anything else don't matter at that point. Some brothers are going to be out there in the wilderness. Some brothers are going to be out in the concentration camp. Some brothers are going to be, we don't know. But regardless wherever we're going to be at, we're going to rely on these scriptures. The scripture says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Go on, brother.
And they shall be tried as gold in the fire.
And that's when we're going to be tried. Because even though we're not going through this particular situation, but we're being tried still. It's just little and little of us being tried. You see? But when it's all said and done, when this society hits ground zero like no other, we're going to be tried. Okay? And the truth also is going to be tried as well. You know? Go on, brother.
Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi, behold, the days of trouble are at hand.
Right, the days of trouble are at hand. So we're not in the time where we got to be thinking, well, you know, we got another 50 years, or we got another 100 years, or You know, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't be an individual that's wearing a tin cap talking about the end of the world. No, we're going to talk about the end of the world because the end of the world is over here. It's happening right before you. And these things that we're reading about, it's going to manifest in this reality. So there's no putting off the end. See, people want to be comfortable in their own little bubble. You can't be comfortable in our own little bubble. We got to take a look and focus on what's going on in reality. You understand? Go on, brother.
Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord, Yahawashi, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
But the Lord will deliver us from the same. And I could understand why most people don't want to deal with the harsh reality of the end of the world, because people are wondering, what am I going to do? Because I'm used to being fed. You know, I'm used to taking care of my kids. I'm used to doing my everyday, day-to-day living, you know, working 12 hours and what have you, working all of these hours, coming home, doing the same shit over and over again. So people are used to this kind of lifestyle. But there's going to be another lifestyle that's going to come because the end is already here. The end of the world, in the end of this world. And that's what it's really all about. In this stage of the game is about, we are at the end of the world. Now, what I mean by the end of the world, I'm not talking about the end of this planet. I'm talking about the end of Esau ruling. And this is why things are not as what it used to be. Esau's not doing as good as they used to. You know, a lot of these jakes out here, they're not acting like how they used to because something's going on where pretty much people are aware psychologically of something happening. And they really can't put their foot on it. But we know exactly what it is because we're the awakened ones. We're the prophets of the Lord. And not to be braggadocious, it's just this, the truth. Go on, brother, read what you got.
This is 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the part and the son of the times?
Yeah.
Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
Right, and when shall the end of the first of that which followeth? We're living in the end of the first. What was the first? The first was this society. Like what Yahawashi said. Or should I say going back to the Old Testament on how the Lord is going to do away with the former age and set up the new, what is it, the new heavens and new earth. So the former is going, we're living in the former right now. We're living in the former, approaching the new world. Go on, brother.
Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
In other words, Esau is the last of them all. Okay? And we're living in the last of all of these paganistic empires. We can begin with the Egyptian empire. We can begin with the Assyrian empire. Okay, we can deal with the Babylonian empire. We can deal with the Persians and the Medes, the Greeks, the Romans, and this one over here. So this is the last of them all. So Esau is going to come back and rule all over again, fulfill his lot, right? Once he's fulfilled his lot, then we're going to transition to the new world. What is it? The New Jerusalem. That's where we at right now. So when you really take a look at the Lord is fair. Because the Most High gave every nation a chance to show what they got. And they failed miserably. And the Lord also was proving the point that these other nations are just simply heathen. Other nations. Because when the Lord gave them a chance to rule, they didn't rule correctly. All right? And not only because they're simply just other nations, they're in the flesh. They're what you call mortal men. That's why they were known as sons of men in the beginning of time. Because they're just that, men. But the nation of Israel, because of our transgression and our sin, we went down. We left those bodies and came very low. And now we're walking as the sons of men in the flesh. But we're going to regain that legendary status again. All right? That godlike status. I used the wrong word. We're going to receive the godlike status again. And then all of the people all around the world are going to acknowledge us as the sons of God, the Israelites. Yeah, so brother, what you can do is you go back to Revelations 13. And we'll go back to that topic what I was talking about. Yeah, that's a good topic right there.
Right, Revelations 13, back on verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right, and his feet was as the feet of a bear. Because the last part of this kingdom is the Russian Empire. The Russians, which is known as Gog and Magog. The reason why, actually read it again. Let's read the whole thing again.
Start from all the way from the beginning.
Yeah,
and I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy.
Right, which is talking about the European Union. You have the 7 heads, which is what we have, what we don't have it today. But basically, when you look at the picture of the dragon with the 7 heads, it lists those countries, and then you also look at the woman that's on the scarlet-colored beast, which is America. All right, but this beast is talking about the European Union. I want to go into it specifically, but we don't have, the image, and I don't have the date on me right now, and I haven't gotten into that in a long time. Go on, brother.
Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right, and his feet was as the feet of a bear. So at first it made mention of how that beast was like a leopard, right? Because the first empire of Edom was the Greeks. Go on.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Right, and the mouth as a lion is dealing with Great Britain. Because Great Britain is the lion. Now let's back up a little bit. Let's deal with the feet of the bear. The reason why the beast had the feet of the bear is because the bear, such as Russia, is going to take this society down. So basically, the bear represents the last part of this world, which will take down the rest of this beast. All right? And I just read it in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. When you read Ezekiel 38, that talks about Gog and Magog, and Gog and Magog being prepared for battle. Okay? Go on, bro.
Got another precept quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahawah Yahawashi have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes.
See, there it is right there. That's another good one. The spirit of the Lord had raised up the king of the Medes. Now, was this talking about back then? Because during the time of the Medes, the people that were in that land was the people of Japhet and those Persians. But now this is what it's talking about. The Russians. The Lord is raising the spirit of the Russians up. Go on.
For his devices against Babylon.
Right, for his devices against Babylon. So those weapons of war that the Russians have, they're going to use them bad boys against America. And really, when you really dig deep, this is really a battle between Esau and Esau. Dating all the way back to what Yahawashi said. What did Yahawashi tell Peter? You live by the sword, you shall die by the sword. So we know Esau is blessed by the sword. That applies to him too. So it's going to take one Edomite from the right-hand side to attack another Edomite or obliterate another Edomite on the other left-hand side. Okay? Or should I say them by group? You're going to have a group of Edomites on the right hand, obliterating the Edomites on the left. Go on, brother.
For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi.
Because it's the vengeance of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi. So this is why when you go back to Revelation, the 13th chapter, it says that this is the Lord's will. He's going to put it in them to perform his will. Because this is the vengeance of the Lord. This is why it says in Zephaniah 3 and 8, it says, wait ye upon me until I rise up to the prey. Because the Lord is going to rise up to the prey. And the prey, who's the prey to the Lord? Esau's. Go on, brother. And also he's going to send his son back, Yahawashi, to add insult into injury. To pretty much, what is it? Man, what's that saying? What's that saying? He's going to put the final nail in the coffin. Yahawashi is going to be the final nail in the coffin. Go on, brother.
This is Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi, as the rivers of water. he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Thank you, brother. Yeah. So the Lord has everybody on lockdown, man. His hands is in the spirit of men.
Yeah.
So there's no escape. So even though the people, like you may have these people in power, all of these different nations, they may want to come together and come with some kind of agreement or peace. But they've done that years ago. You've had peace agreements after peace agreements, and it all flopped. Why all of those peace agreements flop? Because it's not in the intent of the Lord for all of these nations to get the peace at this particular moment in time. Peace is going to take place when we're brought back to the land of Israel. Hold what you got. Give me Isaiah chapter 2. That's the peace. Ain't no peace coming here. Ain't no peace coming here. Like it says in the scriptures. Man, I believe it's in the book of John. No peace unto the wicked. So there's no peace coming out here. When the men of the Lord are in the land and the right nations in the land of Israel, that's where peace is going to be. Peace like you've never seen before, baby boy. Yeah, let's get that.
Isaiah 2. The words that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and he shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, let us walk in the light of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi.
That's it. That's it. So the peace that these nations wish to want to perform amongst each other, it's not going to happen. Because it's in the will of the Lord to get these nations prepared for that great battle. Hence is why it's called Armageddon, the mountain of troops, which really the Hebrew word is Armageddon. So all of these nations are going to get prepared, and they're going to go toe to toe, blow for blow. And the rest is history. Straight like that. Okay? So you may have men that's in those positions of power. They may want to do one thing, but the Lord, as it says in the book of Job, the Lord turneth away the purpose of man. Let's read what you had before in Proverbs. And then give me the one in Job. Let me see if I can get that. The Lord withdrew of his purpose from man. I believe I can find that. If I can't find the brothers will back me up. That's why it's good. That's why it's good to have multiple different brothers, man. You can't do everything by yourself. Yeah, read what you got, brother.
It's the same one, it's Proverbs 21.
Okay, yeah, get that.
It's Proverbs 21 in the king's heart. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawah Yahawashi.
Yeah, he sealeth his instruction. That's it right there. It's Job 3. Yeah, read that again, huh?
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawah Yahawashi. And as the rivers of water, he turneth it, whithersoever he will.
333? 33, verse 7. Okay. Good one. Yeah, read that again, huh?
Hey, just drop it out.
It's locked.
Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawah Yahawashi. And as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Right. So the Lord is, like I said, the Most High is in control of everything that goes down in this realm. There's nothing that the Lord does not know. He knows everything. He's the omnipotent one. He's all around. He created all of this to be. So if he created all of this to be, he's going to be aware of his creation.
So like there was more.
Yeah, you're going, brother.
Every way of man is right in his...
was it 33? Okay.
Every way of man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord Yahawashi pondereth the hearts.
Right, but the Spirit of the Lord pondereth the hearts. Yeah, so go get me Job 33. verse, I'll tell you what, start with verse 15. And then we're going to read all the way down to the point on 17.
Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the beds.
Right, in slumberings upon the bed. Go on.
When he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions.
Right. So, like even today, I can't say I'm gonna do. I can't specifically list the things I'm gonna do the next following day. You understand? Only the Lord can do that. The Most High can pretty much set your mind to do everything that you're gonna do for the next following day, or